Thank everyone for being here to the special called meeting. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Representative Bauman. Present. Representative Blanton. Representative Bowling.
Here.
Representative Bridges. Representative Burke. Representative Chester Burton. Representative Dossett.
Present.
Representative Dotson. Representative Flannery. Representative Fugate.
Here.
Representative Gentry. Representative Grossberg.
Here.
Representative Johnson.
Yep.
Representative McCool. Representative Miles.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Here.
Representative Williams. Representative Wesley.
Here.
Representative White. And Chair Gooch.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, how many do we have? Okay, we do have a quorum. Now, we have some members that are back and forth with some different committees, so we're going to kind of move in ways that make sure that we keep our quorum or whatever. The first thing we're going to do is take up Senate Bill 4. We have already heard testimony on that bill, so we're not doing testimony. So the floor is open for someone to make a motion. Motion and a second, Representative Dotson. Second, Representative Wesley. Okay. And Dossett? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Representative Bauman.
No.
Representative Blanton.
Yes, explain my vote briefly.
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be voting aye today, and the reason I'm voting aye is because back a few weeks ago, TVA was here, and their response to my questions were that coal was more reliable, more efficient than renewables, and that it was a cheaper form of energy than renewables, and all we're doing is trying to preserve the most effective, cost-effective, reliant, cheapest energy for our constituents. And I believe there is a broad false narrative going out that's untrue, that this will increase utility bills, and people need to hear the facts, not false information that's passed out. So I vote aye today.
Thank you.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Bridges. Representative Burke. Representative Chester Burton. Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Dotson.
Yes.
Representative Flannery.
I'd like to explain my yes vote.
Yes. Go ahead.
I am voting yes on this. The reason I'm voting yes is because I do think it's an important policy discussion and direction to have for the PSC to consider reliability. And I think it's a worthy discussion that we consider that even if there could be an increase in rates. I'm not saying that there would be, but I do think that's a worthy policy discussion to have. My concern with this is how it could potentially curb or have a negative impact on our state pursuing a direction with nuclear energy. And I hope that that's something we can continue to have a robust discussion on, because I think that's something that would be good for our ratepayers and for our overall energy policy. But the fact that this will allow the PSC to factor in reliability, I think is a good thing. So I'll be voting yes today.
Thank you.
Representative Fugate.
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'll be voting yes today. In the last few years, the coal-fired plant was demolished in my area, and our power bills have went up extremely because of that very thing. And the people of East Kentucky absolutely deserve to have the PSC look at a reliable replacement for the coal industry. We deserve to have that. And for the PSC to ignore reliability is to ignore the needs of the people of East Kentucky and rural Kentucky. And so I vote yes, and hopefully and prayerfully that ignorance from Washington will stop, and the regulations that they put on our coal-fired plants, somebody will stand up there and take those regulations away so the power companies can rebuild or redo them, however how it gives them extra life. And so I vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Representative Gentry.
Explain my vote, please.
Yes.
Although I always feel like grid resiliency and reliability always demands our attention and consideration, especially in light of what happened in December. I've also been given information, people that I respect in this area, that have led me to believe that the bill as written has some potential substantial legal and practical problems that could unreasonably burden taxpayers, and you know, in order to advance continued operation of coal-fired generation units that maybe should be retired because of inefficiency, cost of operation relative to cleaner energy sources, and also relative additional pollutant contributions. I will tell you, in my area in Jefferson County, I grew up in southwest Jefferson County, and quite frankly, make a long story short, we had shorter life expectancies and higher incidences in West Louisville and southwest Jefferson County, being downwind of the air in a non-attainment zone that we were dealing with higher respiratory issues and cancers and so on and so forth. And the Clean Air Act was a good thing, and that we were trying to move toward cleaner energies, and I think the right way to do things moving forward is always going to be a mixed sort of approach. And as you know, it's very true that some of these cleaner energies are less reliable. I think in time they're going to get more reliable, but we should always be in consideration of our options that are out there and handle it from a mixed use standpoint moving forward. So I'm going to be a no today against this particular bill as it is written. Thank you.
Thank you. And please limit your explanation to 2 minutes.
Representative Grossberg.
Yes.
Permission to explain my vote. I'm going to be voting no today. I've heard largely from 3 groups: citizens, energy companies, and chambers of commerce, and all that I've heard from are in strong opposition to the bill. They don't feel that this bill makes sense environmentally, economically, or in terms of reliability. And as you've heard me say on the House floor, I am a futurist. I'm excited about what the direction that technology is going. And I know that we'll need more energy in the future, but we need 21st century energy. And this bill disincentivizes and, in fact, instructs energy companies to ignore the incentives that move them into the 21st century. So because I disagree, ironically, with the government overreach of this body, I am voting no. Thank you.
Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Miles. Representative Smith.
I'd like to explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
First of all, I appreciate what you've done over the years in your battle with the opposite side on fossil. And I want to kind of echo the gentleman from Perry. We have no control over the federal side, but at least we're taking a stance. At least we're showing our side of it here in Kentucky, where our members stand, and I appreciate us being able to take this vote to stand for our fossil, stand for our production, and I consider it an honor today to vote for this piece of legislation. So it's a yes.
Thank you.
Representative Wesley.
Absolutely yes. Thank you.
Representative White. Yes. Representative Williams.
Explain my vote.
Yes.
Please. Over the last 6 months, we've had the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, the grid operator MISO, grid operator PJM, all issue white papers warning us of the reliability crash collision course that we're on. And I received a lot of emails from a particular organization about this boogeyman rate increase that we're going to have, and the gentleman from, well, Representative Fugate had mentioned that earlier. I think their power bill went up 78% over from 2011 to 2022. LG&E saw 33% in the same time period. Duke Energy saw a 48% increase in their rates as well. Well, gentlemen, the boogeyman's already here, if that's the case. And to add addition to that, we're going to have a reliability factor that we need to deal with. So for that reason, I will definitely be voting yes on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Gooch.
Let me explain my vote as well. And I vote aye. And, I've been here for several years, and electricity rates have gone up ever since I've been here. And some of the people that are today talking about how concerned they are that rates are going to increase have never said a word in the past about the rate increases. So I do believe that there may be an instance where we might be required to pay a little bit more for reliability, but I think that might be very well spent to make sure that when our citizens flip that light switch, the lights are on. So as I said, I vote aye. The bill does pass. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to hear Senate Bill 192. Senator Wheeler.
Thank you, Chairman Gooch and members of the committee. It's an honor to appear before you, Senator Philip Wheeler, 31st Senate District. Senate Bill 192 is essentially a bill about righting a past wrong, one that's been discussed today by Representative Fugit related to the closure of the Big Sandy coal-fired plant in Louisa, Kentucky, a closure that cost over 200 jobs and nearly $1 million a year for the school system. In addition, it has left, even though the plant, the coal generator is now gone, the ratepayers are still left paying for the remaining life on that plant in the form of the Big Sandy rider, which appears on every electric bill and is a pretty substantial cost to the electric bill that Representative Fugit described so accurately. What Senate Bill 192 will do will be to allow a limited securitization of the remaining balance on the Big Sandy rider, as well as some storm damage that occurred before June 6 of 2023. It's got a sunset clause allowing 18 months for the financing to be done in order to do that. The end result would be that instead of retiring this debt at a 7 to 10% annual return, it will be retired at a much lower rate, resulting in about $7 to $10 million in annual savings to the ratepayers of Eastern Kentucky, which is one of the poorest regions of the state and which has been.
You have a motion and a second on the bill. Do we have any members with any questions? Representative Fugit?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say, Senator, thank you for bringing this legislation that will give some relief to those who are on limited income, whose power rates. I've got a lady in our church that draws about $652 a month. Last month, her power bill was $489. Her rent is $250, and if you add that up, she can't eat anything or take any medicine, and she's still in the hole. And so thank you for bringing this legislation, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Representative Ballman?
Yes.
Representative Blanton?
Aye.
Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Bridges?
Yes, and I'd like to record my presence and a yes on SB 4.
Yes, thank you.
Representative Burke? Representative Burton? Representative Dossett? Yes. Representative Dotson?
Yes.
Representative Flannery? Representative Fugate?
Yes.
Representative Gentry?
Yes.
Representative Grossberg?
Yes.
Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Miles?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Wesley?
Yes.
Representative White? Yes. Representative Williams?
Yes.
And Chair Gooch.
I'm going to explain my vote again. Senator, thank you so much for bringing this bill, and I hope that it really does provide rate relief for the citizens in your area and in the area of many of our colleagues here today. And not only would it provide rate increases for people who can afford the bills, but also businesses that create jobs. And we all know that high electric rates or high utility rates are a detriment to investment in this state and the creation of jobs. And I'm really glad that this committee has taken a stance to say we're going to do what we can to help our consumers out there. You know, so many people claim to be consumer advocates, but they never put their money where their mouth is, and they always, they never complain when they see policies that come from Washington that we know are going to raise rates, but they never complain about those. But then they want to convene and say, we're here on the side of the consumer, and I think this calls them out. We're the ones that really do consider ourselves consumer advocates. So with that, I vote aye.
Well, Chairman, I want to thank you, and especially for your leadership on this issue, and really, your continued leadership for years on this very issue. This is not a silver bullet, but it's an important first step to bring reasonableness back to the utility rates in Eastern Kentucky, and I want to thank each and every one of you all from the bottom of my heart for that lady that's drawing $600 a month, because every little bit of relief you can give her is important. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The bill passes. Finally, we have Senate Bill 277. Representative Smith, are you going to be? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be returning the favor, and he passed a bill out of one of my bills out of his committee today, and hope to be able to do the same.
You know, you look really handsome from down here, Chairman Gooch.
Then he says that before he puts his glasses on.
Yeah.
I guess you noticed.
It's good to be back in front of my old chamber over with the House members, and I appreciate you hearing this bill. 277 is a bill the Cabinet brought to us to take a look at, and it allows us to go in and look at these dams and assess if they're high risk, medium risk, and come up with some sort of quantifiable inspection or steps to go through to guarantee that these dams are in good shape.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the bill. Representative Flannery, you just second? Second. Okay, let me say that also in your package, there is a list of the high hazard dams that are in each of our districts. Representative Gentry, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a question to you, I guess.
Okay.
Isn't this the bill that passed through the House that you carried last year? And
Yes, it is. It's the same bill, and it just
it
didn't
blew through real fast, and then hit that barrier called the state Senate.
You need to work. You need to work on that, Representatives. Make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
It was an amendment, if I may remember. We had this out, and very often, as you all know, the Cabinet will bring you legislation, but I think it was an amendment that got added to the end that caused it to get derailed. I actually like the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Ballman?
Yes.
Representative Blanton? Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Bridges?
Yes.
Representative Burke? Representative Chester Burton? Representative Dossett?
Yes.
Representative Dotson?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Yes.
Representative Fugate?
Yes.
Representative Gentry?
Yes.
Representative Grossberg?
Yes.
Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Miles?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Wesley?
Yes.
Representative White? Representative Williams? And Chair Gooch.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, thank you. Bill does pass with favorable expression. That same should pass. Do any committee members have anything else? If not, motion for adjournment. Motion